guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. Sounds like he's probably mid-20s, late 20s at best. And long story short, he wanted to know if he did the right thing by putting this gal in her place who wanted him to cheat with her on her boyfriend. You're going to see in this story, guys, that this is a girl that liked him. It was a co-worker at a former job. Really made it abundantly clear she liked him and all that. Easy for him to ask her out. And on the date, he found out that she had a boyfriend and all that, but made it out to be like, oh, he's okay with it. Or like an open relationship thing. But because this guy watches this type of content, he knows darn well that she was full of crap, and he definitely put her in her place. And let's just say she wasn't too pleased, and this was not the reaction and response that she was used to getting. And that'd be a really good one, guys, just to show you how you gotta be aware of the gals that are like this. You need to have a freaking code that you're not gonna knowingly hook up with a girl that has a boyfriend or a husband or a guy. That ain't cool. One, for the code, but two, also, that can come back to hurt you one day. Really, because karma's a bitch. So that'd be a very good one here. And he does a couple things, a couple minor things that he could have handled differently, which I'll mention at the end because he's curious. But other than that, this guy did a really good job, and this is what I want to hear. So it starts off, he says here, hello SSM. I never thought I'd be writing to you, but here I am. I love the channel, I love the message that you send out. More men everywhere need the information that you give. Well, bro, I appreciate your support, and I agree, more men need this. So guys, the best way you can help out guys out there, and not to mention help me out, is by telling all your bros and your male family members, and hell, even the cool girl ones if you have them, about my channel. Send them share it on social media, send them a text, send an email. Any way you can send these videos that you think they might like, send it all to them. Tell everybody. And the more guys that follow me, the more I can help them out. And not to mention, as the channel grows, YouTube will see the channel's growing and therefore recommend me more, and off we go. And also, you should subscribe to my other channels, They Did What for the crazy stories, or the new channel, SSM Clips. It'll only take you a second to subscribe. Definitely things in there you might enjoy. And again, the more YouTube sees the channels grow, the more they'll recommend me and help me out. So I'd appreciate it if you could do that. Anyway, he says here, this just happened to me, and I need some clarity on it if I made the right decision. Now to the story. I used to work with this woman at my old job. We'll call her Ava. Me and Ava spoke from time to time, and eventually we hung out once, which didn't lead to anything. I could tell there was attraction there from both of us, but she was stuck on another guy that we had worked with. When we hung out that first time, I immediately knew I just wanted to use this girl for fun because, come to find out, she was a little too fast for me. Well, that's not very hard to figure out, and certainly that's kind of common nowadays. Notice, guys don't want to have, let's just say, a gal they might get serious with, date seriously a relationship with a girl that's going to hook up with you like that. And there's other things about her. He says also, I don't do drugs, but she does. A lot. Not the super hard stuff, but still, it seemed like she could never get through a day without doing a drug. Well, at least she did when I first met her. Once I was transferred to another store, we lost touch. Yeah, fast and the drugs, don't hang out. Don't waste your time with people like that. About 4 months ago, she invited me to a fellow coworker's birthday surprise at the bar. We'll call him Robert. I work with Robert at my old store as well, and we were super cool. Just a friendly, nice guy. At the party, Ava and I started catching up, and she tells me she's relaxed on the drugs and has even started working out and boxing, which I liked. The night goes on, and eventually she asked me to hit her up sometime. She was still in the fun-only category to me, so I thought, why the hell not? At the very least, I'll get some ass. Yeah, some easy ass, but remember, you got to be careful. Always wear protection, always dispose of your protection, never buy the I'm on the pill bullshit. But even then, guys, to me, and looking at this as a 45-year-old guy, he was originally, he thought she was hot, and he would get some, but still, she turned him off. And not to mention the drug thing, and her easing up on the drugs, that wouldn't matter to me. He says, so I hit her up a few days later, and we set a date. The day comes around, and I take her to a restaurant to grab some food. What I tell you guys about taking a girl on your first date to a restaurant? One drink. I don't care if they're giving the food away for... No, that's stupid. If they're giving away the food for free, then you can eat the food. But you get my point. One drink only. And you're going to see in a second, guys, why I say one drink only. Even if you already know the girl, even if you already know she's really into you, still one drink only, and then just see what happens. Because, watch this. He says here, while at the restaurant, I asked her why she started taking boxing lessons. She said, I got some good boxing gloves as a present for Christmas. I asked, from who? She paused for a second and said, my boyfriend. Wait a second here. She's putting the moves on this guy, invited him to the party. She was definitely showing her interest in him enough to and she said, hit me up sometime. Pretty much, please call me so we can go out and I can F you. He does. And she goes out on a date with this guy, but she has a boyfriend. Welcome to our modern world, guys. Needless to say, this took me by surprise. I said, you have a boyfriend? Who? She says, Robert. Turns out she had been dating Robert for about 6 months. What a piece of garbage. I looked at her with a mix of disgust and shock on my face and said, why are you even here? You have a boyfriend. She shrugged. I can literally see, I don't know. She shrugged and said, I don't know. I was just joking about that. Yeah, I don't know. We're just hanging out. I asked him if it was okay to hang out with you, and he said yes. He trusts me. That's when I knew this was a mistake. I started to remember all the RP content I had learned. I guarantee you he isn't cool with it. I guarantee you he doesn't even know. Or if he does know, she's manipulated him into an open relationship, which he's not for, but obviously too weak to break up with her because he said that this Robert dude's a nice guy. We know what that means. So it's one of those two things. And by the way, your initial gut feeling about her was accurate. She's trash between that she's just a hookup type and the drugs. And now you can add liar and deceiver and manipulator to the list. I bet you wish you had that one drink now. See, guys, he's stuck there at the dinner table with food on the way when he just wants to leave. If he had one drink, he could just chug the rest of his beer and be like, nice knowing you, asshole. But now he's stuck there at the table. This is what I'm talking about. One drink only. Anyhow, he says here, sure, I just wanted to bang her, but I'll be damned if I get friend zoned, especially since we were already established that we had some attraction to each other. I will not be a woman's emotional sponge, and I don't sleep with women who are in relationships. We had a whole night planned out, but after she said that to me, I told her, you're going home after this. She seemed shocked. I then told her, you have a whole ass boyfriend, and I'm not interested in being your friend. After that, it got awkward silence for about 2 minutes. We had barely gotten our plates of food when I asked the waitress to bring us some to-go boxes. I then looked at her and said, we need to end this. You have to go. We boxed up our food and left. Good for you for not going along with this BS. And you know what? If she was a little hottie, I'm sure the other brain down there was probably saying a few things to you, but I'm glad you stuck to your principles. You weren't going to be that guy. You weren't going to cheat with some of the dude's woman. You weren't going to be friends on any of that stuff. Good for you. But again, he's still sitting there with that awkward moment at the freaking restaurant table. One drink, he could have left. And now he's about to do another thing that I disagree with, which I'll point out later. He says, in the car, we got into a small argument, and I explained to her again that I don't take women out who have boyfriends. Hold on. Why is she in your car? Why, after that moment where she revealed how trashy she is by she's obviously cheating on her boyfriend, why would you drive her home? I'm sure Uber is available, Lyft is available, an old-fashioned taxi cab is available. You should have taken her home. Because now you're in the car. You have the awkward moment at the dinner table, and you have the awkward moment in the car. I also say, on your first date, one drink, and you meet there. That way, then, if it's awkward or screwed up, you don't have to deal with her. But everything else you're doing right. I have to point these out, guys, to help guys. These are ways to learn. So there's an argument and drama in the car. And her ego can't handle that you're not going to get with her. He says, this brings on the unwanted drama. And it was even worse now because I'm cool with the guy that you're dating. Somewhere in the argument, she asked, we're just hanging out. Are you trying to sleep with me? I said I would, and that's all I need to know. She then said, I guess we can't be friends then. And I replied, no, we can't. The rest of the car ride was in silence. Once I pulled up to her once I pulled up to her car, she sent me half of her bill for the restaurant and left. There you go. The awkwardness in the car. She could have just driven to the restaurant. So SSM, was I too harsh with this? No. Or did I handle it correctly? You handled it 90% correctly. Except for that whole eating thing and car thing. I told my brothers and cousin this story, and it was pretty much 50-50 from them. But we agreed on two things. Number one, her boyfriend was a typical nice guy, and there's no doubt she'll cheat on him or leave him soon. I agree. And number two, most likely Ava is for the streets. She certainly is. Hell, they think I probably could have still smashed her that night. Also, is there any part of this story where I made a mistake? Some advice from you and the listeners would be much appreciated. God bless and stay well, KP. Well, bro, like I said, 90% of this thing you did great. The only 10% was you should have met her at the restaurant. And I'm sure you're thinking, hey, I already know her. We're already well acquainted. It's not like I'm just meeting her for the first time. I met her on a dating app or whatever. But no, the one drink rule applies here, because there you go. You thought you knew her. You get on that date and she reveals she has a boyfriend. But meanwhile, you're waiting for your food to come out, and you're stuck at the table in this awkward situation. If it was one drink, she reveals this to you, you're like, chug the rest of your beer or your wine, whatever you drink, or just if it's a coffee, and say, okay, later, asshole. But otherwise, you're stuck there. Then the other thing you did wrong was that you drove her to the restaurant. Bad idea. You should have met her there. And even after all that, you should have just left. She can Uber to her car, take a lift, and then you're stuck in the car arguing with her and drama and all that. You don't need that. But other than that, you did a great job. Good for you. I'm glad initially you didn't want to get with her because you just could tell she was trash. But then later on, when she get that I'm easing off the drug thing, you're like, all right, I'll get some easy ass here. But the fact that you did what a lot of guys would not. A lot of guys would just hooked up and not cared, And that's that poor bastard. I would honestly tell him, dude, since you're friendly with the guy, I would tell him exactly what happened. And because he may have no idea. The fact that she's like, oh, we're just hanging out, or he's cool with it. I forget her exact words. She's full of shit, okay? And let's just say he does know about it. I guarantee you, if they're having like an open relationship or they're poly or whatever bullshit she says, he ain't cool with it, all right? And let's just say he is, well, then you're just, hey, confirming. But regardless, you did a good job, and I'm proud of you. So just keep on with this knowledge, spread the word around, and by the way, keep in mind, you rejecting her was a serious blow to her ego. Women can't take rejection. So be prepared. There could be some bullshit after this. Be prepared. Things could be said about you, about things you may have said to her or done. Just be aware, okay? Be on your guard for a little while in case any bullshit goes on. Because some gals, all women hate rejection. And they usually handle one of two ways. Either that makes them chase after the guy harder, which may actually happen, or B, they're going to get back at you for, God forbid, rejecting them. So just be aware of that and be careful. Other than that, and you did great, man. I'm really proud of you. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. You think he did a good job? If you think he did a good job, give him a shout out, give him some praise. Or if there's any things you might think he could have done or should have done, let him know in the comment section. Again, I think he did great. Other than meeting her for food, which he shouldn't have done, or driving her back to her car. Other than that, he did a great job. And I'm not meaning to be harsh. I'm just pointing these things out where you think he went wrong, and that way he's aware, and other guys won't make the mistake in the future. One drink. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.